Okay, guys, so thanks for coming back. This is going to be the Anna Griffin Paisley or Simply Paisley Scrapbooking Collection or Kit. Part two, at least my part two. I started off with a couple pages, and what I like to do is come back later to do the back, the last page, and then the title page or the front page. So this was page, I guess, layout 2 and 3. So today we'll do 4 and 5. I believe this kit's still available there on HSN, so I'll link it for you guys, possibly embed in the video. That would be an affiliate link, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. And my style is kind of keeping things pretty straightforward, simple. I mean, you can add more decoration, obviously, move things around, but what I like to do is show a few different techniques and just kind of easy, right? I think that's... well, at least I remember when I began scrapbooking, a lot of the intimidation or not doing it was because like, oh, the page has to be like amazing and it can be simple and pretty. And I think that's going to help, right, with time putting this together. The Simply Scrapbooking, collection also helps because you have everything all ready to go. I'm trying to stick to everything that's just in the kit. But today, I think I'm going to bring in some paper from my stash. Or, you're actually scrapbooking when you have like little cookies here among your paper there. I want to do something that's kind of like, well, actually, it's going to be more like that. No, not really. Because if you really look at this, it has the border, which they use the border stickers with. And then it has this area in the center. And funny enough, in my mind, I was going to do this look twice, but I was just thinking about this border. So the one I was going to show you today was more like this part that's on the inside, but I'm not going to put anything else because I don't know if you can see there's another little border that they cut mitered on the edges of this piece. So in my mind, I was going to start off with two different ways of doing this kind of border thing. One that's just layering, so it still looks like a border, and then the other one that is a mitered kind of edge like this. So funny enough, the very center has the other idea I had in my mind. It would be something like that. But it's just another way of making it look like something has borders. So in this one, you can mix them together, what I'm going to show you today, plus, another border. What I'm trying to do is build up more and more difficult, but kind of, not really. I don't want my book to be like starting off so simple and then all these amazing pages at the end or whatever. And I'm not guaranteeing they're going to be amazing. I'm just saying that. So what I was doing last time, I think, is when I started the new video, I would put the other pages away. So these are going to be pages 2 and 3. So I'm going to skip the title page and I'm just going to pop these guys into my book and then we'll move on to pages 4 and 5. And so see, I kind of bend it. Hopefully you can see that. So this makes like a big opening because otherwise you're going to get stuck on the stickers every time you move. So I'll get the other one in and I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So those are in there and really nice. They look really pretty together. Now, I will say this has a big gap in between one and the other. So some other scrapbooks that are like post-bound, your pages are kind of stuck together here. So as you open them, they're more like this, which makes your layout look a lot nicer, to be honest, because they're right next to each other. With this one, I am continuing the one to the next page, and it's going to be completely split up, right, with this kind of get up going. But of course, you can change out your pages. Well, what I mean is you're going to have to use a different scrapbook, one that's post-bound, for it to look more seamless, continuous, right? So I guess that is going to break up your eye line a little bit for the one we're doing today, but that's okay. Okay, so what I need to do is go through the papers and see what I want to use. Just have quite a bit here. Bringing other things with me here. Hey, I have 2 Beacons 3-in-1 glues here. They fell over, but one's Fabri-Tac. Anyway, let's put that back up. Let me put these things to the side. So the next time I'll show you something like this again, I'm not going to use these because I feel like it uses up a lot of these guys and we're just going to cut them. But see how these don't have an edge or anything? So to me, you can just use strips of paper to do the same kind of framed out look around the edges. But today I'm going to use one piece for each side, one piece of paper. And last time we used this one, right? Let's see, what do we have? Again, there's not a lot for your eye to rest. And then the last one, I was focusing on pinks and purples, huh? Maybe we do this blue. And what I'm going to do is cut a piece out of it, and then we're going to flip that piece. So the other side would be like this. And I think that's pretty. Or we use this and then cut out the darker blue piece, But I feel like this is a nice one for matte layering. So we'll use these 2 pieces. And again, my goal is at the end for you to have enough paper to do some fun things and not run out of paper. So with this guy, in my mind, I was already thinking about, let's see the other side. Okay, maybe that's going to change my mind. I was going to use this green paper These are just pretty papers. I mean, even the colors of these papers really go with this kit. And these are the Diamond Press, I believe either All Occasions or the winter papers. You guys remember when they came out with their like mega pop-up kits not too long ago? I was thinking about using this olive color because I think it's really pretty, but that kind of clashes with that. So maybe that peachy color. There's also purples in there that really coordinate, or even that goldenrod color. I don't know. This would be behind like that, and see, I don't care for that too much. I don't like the way those look. How about this one? You know, I mean, it's a different kind of color. It'd be in there than this. It's definitely a pop of color, right? And then there's the other thing. I wasn't sure if I was going to use this one for the background, this, and then this, or this, and then this. You know, I mean, it does give different looks, right? It'd be kind of in there. Funny enough, I wasn't sure if I was going to use a whole 8.5 by 11, because, I mean, look at that. It matte layers in there pretty well. I'll probably trim it down. But in a way that's just kind of an even amount all around, which you would just be displaying the difference of the 8.5 by 11 by between 12, right? So something like that. And then the other piece would come in. I kind of like the dark blue, the darker color. You know what? I think I'm going to use this maize color. Why not? It's different. It's just something else. Okay, now what I need to do is come up with some numbers. So this 8.5 by 11, I'm going to cut a piece off of that. There's going to be a piece coming out from the back of this that we would like to use. This piece, and flip it around. So if we leave a small border like that, that's something to think about. Let me see how big that border is. That way I can... That's 3/4 inches. So that'll be 1.5 inches short on this side and then this side. Okay, let me think of some numbers. I'll be right back. Okay, to make this easy before I start coming up with numbers, I'm going to leave this just like this, the whole 8.5. And I'm going to cut 2 inches off. So 8.5 by 9. So I'll need 2 pieces for that. And again, this is for my stash. Only because I want a piece of kind of plain cardstock back there. And you can also gut these. I'm not going to do that. But you can definitely gut these pieces of paper if you want to maximize them, you know, so you can use the rest for something else. But let's take 2 inches off. You can do this cream color, whatever color accent you would want. So I'm just cutting them both, even though one is for now, one is for later, the opposite side. And I like to do everything pretty much symmetrical, so that's just what I'm looking at. I'm going to take the 2 inches off. So now we have this 8.5 by 9 piece. And then I do like the look of 3/4 inches all around. So it's not showing too much of this color. Not because I don't like the color, but I don't want to do too much with that. So I'm putting this over here. So if you can imagine, this guy's going to come in, and if you have an 8.5 inch piece, minus 3/4, that's minus 1.5 inches, right? Top and bottom altogether. That would be a 7 inch piece by 9 minus a 3/4, so by 8.25. So we're going to do 7 by, okay, I still got to come up with some numbers, because what I'm going to do is gut the back of this, and that same piece that I cut out is what I'm going to flip and put on top of this. So I hope that makes sense. So let me write down these numbers so we don't get confused, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm trying to make this easy, but at the same time we have to wrap our minds around what we're doing. So this is a 12 inch piece of cardstock, right? We have this piece that is 8.5 by 9, and what I want to do is cut out a piece that's going to leave me 3/4 inch sides here. That would be a piece of cardstock right now that's 7 by 8.25. But to cut that out from this piece of paper, we're going to have to make cuts 2.5 inches down from the top, 3.75 inches from one side, and then 2.5 inches from the bottom. So I hope that makes sense, but we're going to do this on our paper trimmer. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the second side. Now, it's super easy to say, oh, I'm just going to cut this out when you have like a piece in the middle like this. I would just gut the whole thing exactly the same under here. But we're cutting it from this end, because I'm going to make it go like this and bleed into the next side. So it's a little more complicated, all right? But not too much. So what I'm going to do is bring my paper trimmer, and I'll do the exact same thing on the other one. We are going to set up our paper, our cardstock at 2.5 inches. And you're going to cut all the way down till you leave... Excuse me, guys. I was just trying to reset this. So we already have this set in 2.5 inches, because you can think if you're going to cut away here at 2.5, you're going to leave 2.5 on the other side, so that's 5 inches. So the piece that's in the center is going to be 7 inches, which is what we were wanting, right? And then we're going to cut down to 8.25, because we do want this to be 8.25 inches deep. So when I said 3.75, that's the amount I'm leaving on that edge. But if you're just eyeballing this, we're gonna need those numbers, okay? So right now we're gonna cut all the way down to 8 1/4, and I'm looking at my little trimmer. It has like little lines and little things that help you really do that nicely. So 8 1/4, which is right there, right? 8 1/4 inch. I'm gonna pick this up, and now we do need that number of 3.75 in our mind because we need to cut that at 3.75. 8 1/4 plus 3.75 is 12, right? So 3 3/4 is where we're lining that up. And you can go from where we are right now because that's essentially, you know, where we're going to cut the other one or however. But I'm going to go ahead and reset this up at the line here, which is basically at 2.5 inches, which is where we want it. And we're going to bring this down, stopping at 1, 2.5, at 9.5. That leaves 2.5 inches down at the bottom. So from where we are right here, I'm going to set up at 2.5, down to 9.5. Okay, now I'm going to pick that up, and I can set it up this way, 2.5 inches on this other side, because we're just going to cut the other 2.5 right there. And you can just bring this all the way down and cut all the way up until you get to 3.75, which is where that should be ending, okay? So let's do that. And I will say what's nice about this is if your cuts are kind of crazy, like what's left on this big piece, that's fine because we're going to cover it up anyway. So now we've removed this portion here. And if you were to measure this, it's going to be 7 by 8 1/4, okay? So 7, 8 1/4. What we're going to do is just layer these guys up like this and then put this one on top, but flipped, so we have those 2 color accents. And now we have one piece of paper that gives you all these pretty layers. I'm going to go ahead and cut the right side. It's going to be exactly the same. You don't have to like treat them special or anything. It's just do the same thing on the other side. So I'll be right back. I will say, when you go to cut your right side or whichever one you started with and go to the next one, if your paper has a certain direction, you want to pay attention to that. This one, it looks like this. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I suppose if I turn it like this, that doesn't hurt anything, and it makes it look a little more organic and fun. It does look like these Paisleys are going in a certain direction, like up and down, and that's kind of how they are over here, but I don't think it would hurt if I was to turn it at all. So anyway, just something to think about, or even if this side was going down in the other direction, if you want, but just pay attention to your paper direction. If there is a direction that you're for sure going to want to cut, you know, from the right side of the page. So for this one, again, I'll set it up, this being that center section, 2.5 inches, and same thing, all the way down to 8 1/4, turn it, line it up to 3.75 and all that, just like we just did, 8 1/4, you know, and then I'll turn it to 3 3/4 and give my little cut there, down to 2.5, and then cut that rest off. All right, and that should be that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if there are flourishes and swirls and cute things that you want to go ahead and add, again, I'm gonna put this to the side. I like to work on that after I do the first page. You can think about planning that right now already, because let's say we're gonna glue this down right here, and then we're gonna glue this one down, but let's say, again, it's so hard for me to tell if these have a direction. I feel like they might. See, it looks like upside down to me for some reason. I don't know. I think I'm looking at these things, but it doesn't matter. They kind of change. There we go. We'll just leave it there. Let's say you want to put some flourishes in behind this layer or something. You know, go ahead and get those stuck down. I think we're just going to use a lot of the other things whenever we come in with our matte layers. So we left plenty of space here. Oh, I said I was going to try to use the tape that it came with, didn't I? Let's do that. I'm going to use this guy. And again, I keep things pretty flat. That's my other thing. I will say, misspeak. I just laid this down and I thought, no, I better not say that. If you think about your overlap here, 2.5 inches, 2.5 down here, you have this piece. You want to make sure that you're putting your stickiness right in there, but you have almost an inch, like a 3/4 inch overlap. And we're only putting it on the 3 sides because the other piece doesn't need it, right? So there, I'm just gonna line this out. And that's probably pretty good. I always go either with my nail or a tool and really just kind of burnish that down. You can definitely save the piece of paper that you gutted for something else. You don't have to bring it back in. You can get, you know, paper from something else if you want a different page. Now, I will say we're going to try to keep this lined up pretty nicely. I can see that it's right at 2.5 here, right, on my grid line over here too. And so I'm going to line this up. I think there's 3/4 inch overlap. Yeah. So I'm lining it up, giving myself, giving myself 3/4 inches here and 3/4 inches here, and that should be pretty straight. Okay, so I put it like at the 3/4, I don't know, you can say 1, 2, 3, right? Same thing down here. Okay, and then we have this guy. And this guy can use tape on all four. Again, if you want to put flourishes coming out from in between the layers, or if you want to pop this up on a, dimensionals, you can definitely do that. I try to keep things pretty flat because once you start filling up your book, it is like impossible to close, or it'll be like bowed out like this. And when you think about it, how are you going to put that on a shelf? Or like with the rest of them? Because honestly, if you're a scrapbooker, you have tons of scrapbooks. Like you have to be kind of practical about it, guys. And I know making these big, thick, amazing pages is really fun, but I would save that for like a shadow box type of thing, or like a home decor type of thing where it's like one really special image and you want to do that. Other than that, that's just at least my experience, and I've been doing this for, I don't know, I shouldn't even say close to 30 years. Probably, well, even 30, yeah. Anyway, okay, so let's put this here. And this time I'm eyeballing this, but let's see. We should have, again, 3/4 inches, right? Because that's what we did. So I can line this up on a grid line that's more straight. Isn't that what we gave ourselves? I want to say that's what we gave ourselves. So again, 1, 2, 3 little blocks. I'm paying attention to where that's at here and up here, and that's pretty good. Okay. And that is what I'm doing. So I'm still focusing on this one page, and then I'll do the other one exactly the same. We have our pieces ready to go for it. I'm gonna put this to the side. Let's look at matte layers and then maybe some of the other fun stuff that we have. Again, titles, all those things we want to think about. I wanted to use a bigger picture on this. Now you can definitely see, I want to go with the pink. I really feel like that makes that pop. Again, it could be here. It could be like whatever works for your project. Here, it's kind of a bummer because it's exactly the same, but maybe you want to go with a smaller, matte layer for that, right? If you want something else. I kind of feel like, that looks great. I mean, you can put in 2 pictures, maybe one higher up and one like this or whatever. It's just matte layers, right? So whatever you want, I guess you could fit in 2 of these. They're really close to each other. I'm not sure that's what I was going to go for. Now that I think about it. Oh, you know what? Do we have a square? Yes, we have a square. We used pink squares in the last one, didn't we? Ooh, how about blue? Okay, let's do that because we were using pink squares and I only have 2 of them left now. So let's go with the blue. Not at all what I was thinking about. And, maybe so you have some flourishes. I was going to decorate this area. And then the other one starts off the same way. Or bring this here, decorate this area, and do the other one the same way. But I think it'd be fun this way. All right, so this is for the next page. Okay, I think what I'm trying to show you guys now is like, just that you can add more pictures. I know this is only have 1, and people get bummed out about that because they want it to have more things, but I'm gonna have 1. We have flourishes, we have flowers, we have journaling card we can think about. We can also, let me find a journaling card. A lot of times I think about that later, but honestly, okay, hold on. Because I could bring that in here. Oopsie. I don't know, I just tossed it to the side. I will say, I think these have stickers. Do they? Let's check really quick. Maybe not. Oh, I'm going to destroy this. Okay. I wasn't sure if this had a sticker back or not. It looks like it not. Okay. We can put this in here and decorate around it, or I can put it over here, afterward, and then still have this area decorated. We'll think about that. I'm going to leave it out to the side. A lot of times I put that in last, and then I'm like, oh, I should have thought about it as we were building it up. We have these beautiful things. Have I used these Paisley ones yet? Not really, huh? Let's see. I love this one. This one's really sweet because, it does its own thing already. Oh, maybe we add that like in there just to add a little something. Let's see what we got. A lot of times I forget about these flourishes and things. Let me try to bring some of those in, maybe something different. We have left and rights, which is always great. I mean, I don't really like to hide things because the whole point was putting that metal layer, but that looks really nice. Like, trying to make it a little more opulent. This guy standing by himself isn't great, but I don't really know. Let me look at these images. So let's see, we can look at how they're clustering things over here and have a better idea. Like that skinny one. Oh, look at this. They put two different flourishes behind there. And again, I just came up with that in my brain. Get some inspo, like here. Okay, this is kind of what I'm looking at. They just stuck a bunch of stuff behind it, so that's going to be really tall. But I don't really know how to use these guys, so maybe I'm going to take some of this as inspo. Like we have this guy here, and maybe just a couple of flowers behind it. Let's see. So I already used this set in the last one, these guys. And they're really pretty, but I feel like they're nice because you can just kind of tuck them in here and there, these little guys. And that's not too eye-catching. There's a lot going on. That's more than I normally would do. Let's clear out this area, clear out this area. I mean, maybe that's what we go with. Again, this is probably going to be flat, and then I'll probably pop this up. Dimensional, you can decorate this whole area up too, of course. You know, I feel like it goes there. The picture, you know, to me should be standing out, but I feel like this is a lot. Let's move this a little more this way. And yeah, we have our left and right. I mean, this one's kind of cute. It's a little bit smaller, but I do kind of want it filled in. Let me see. Maybe it's just the way these are angled. Something. Let me bring it up a little more. A little more out this way. Obviously, that's kind of, that's interesting. Kind of like that. But I feel like this one needs to come more this way. That's interesting. I like the way that's turned. Okay. That's what I'm going to go with, guys. And, you know, that's that. Okay. So, I'm going to do a little something. I'm going to stick these guys together so that way they stay kind of the way I like them to look. And then I'm going to find the left and rights and do the same thing on the other side so that they're opposite. But something like that. That's there. That's there. Okay, those are stuck together now. I'm going to lift that up in a minute. This, I love the way it looks, so I'm going to just be very careful and put that down. And then, like I said, I'll do the same thing on the other side, and we'll do... Oh, did I do my words on the other side last time? I think I did. That's kind of... I try to make it a little different. Because last time I think I put the journaling card here and the words over there. So maybe we put this journaling card on the other side. I'll put it to the side for now. And then we'll find... Word, again, you can die cut, you know, whatever is vacation. Oh, I like vacation. Oh, and then the word is kind of orangey. Does it fit? Let's see. Well, you know what? Let me wait on that for 1 second. What I'm going to do is... I know I stuck that one down. I'm just all over the place right now, guys. I'm going to put glue. But you can, of course, use the glue that came in the kit. I'm just so used to reaching for my glue, guys. I'm going to slide that back in there just to kind of have an idea where that should be. A little higher up. And that's if you're keeping it all even. I'm trying to see like the spacing here. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's go back to this. And then next time we'll do more mitering, which I love mitering, but I always said I was going to start from kind of easier to a little bit more difficult. And I know mitering's not the easiest thing for everybody. So there are lots of ways to ease up your mitering. I think back in the day we were doing like math and all this weird stuff, and it's like, you don't have to do that. Like, let's say you want a 5x7 inch mitered, you know, frame or whatever. Then cut your papers 5x7 and then however thick you want them. Obviously, if they're really thick, you're going to need a bigger frame because it's going to take up a lot of space. I don't know how to explain that. So I've just, you know, there's lots of different ways to play with that. How did I have this? I feel like I had it this way. I like the way that looks. But then I think it needs to go the other way. Look at the flowers. That's cute. Okay, fine. We're going to do it this way. Maybe that's how I had it. I don't know. But I love mitering. It's so fun. And now you just put it and then, okay, well, I'm talking about the sizing, right? So if at the end you want a 5x7 frame, you're going to take some care for that. Cut a 5x7, layer the two pieces together, and just cut it right down the center, right, in a diagonal. And I think that's better than trying to do all this fun stuff to try to really do math for it, you know? You want an 8-inch mitered square, 8-inch strips by however big, or maybe a little bit larger if you want them to be on the outer side of the 8-inch, you know? Okay, we're gonna, this middle piece doesn't really touch, so we're gonna pop that up a little bit with dimensionals. And I don't know if these dimensions are the same height as like the flowers or the stickers. You can see how these stickers, I feel like they're a little bit bigger, but that's better than nothing. Nope. Like that, just right on this edge here. That looks very pretty. Push that down, stick that down. Okay, and then I said maybe the word vacation. I don't know if it's too big. That's my only issue here. But let's do that. I haven't used the other words, the gold foiled ones, but we'll get to them very soon. Okay, let's pop down all these things. I will say these stick really well after you really stick them down, okay? So when you first stick them down, you can still reposition them, but it'll be fine later. I'm trying to think if I should just put it here. I mean, literally this stuff can go anywhere sideways if you want to be more playful, but I feel like maybe somewhere like in here. I do try to keep it in the same spot like where the other piece is, you know, just to keep the symmetry going, but I feel like that's not going to work for me on this one, so I like this better. And I'm just eyeballing that, and it does look a little bit crooked. So let's reposition that. Okay. You know, yesterday we went to the beach just because, I don't know, Darren wanted to go to the beach with some of his friends. And it's not the same as in Hawaii. Here in San Diego, the water is so cold. Even though it got up to like 70 at the beach area, like out here it was a little bit warmer at home. You know, the beach is like 12, 15 miles. But it is different. It was so cold. Oh my gosh. But so I'm looking at vacation. We're trying to, you know, enjoy San Diego more, because I think once you live in a place like that, you're just living, right? You don't really do the fun things that people come to do their touristy things. But yeah, I can see why we don't go very often. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's too cold. It's too cold. Even in the summer, it's so cold. But anyway, all right. That is one page, and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Guys, I think for this opposite one I chose the only set in here that doesn't have a left and right. Well, actually there might be more, but every single one that I found like this, they all are the same, which is a real bummer. Okay, I like it to look the same. I'm so choosy about that. That's such a, I mean, I guess I could peel that one off, but no, I'm gonna have to just make it work somehow. Okay, well, I'll use the same one even though it's not really like opposite direction. I'll be back. So again, you know, like I said, I try to kind of even out these things, like the vacation over here. Maybe this goes here. I feel like it needs to go there, and that's not a big deal. But like I said, for you guys, I'll stick this down real quickly because later I want to come in and actually journal on this. So I'm just going to put a couple little bits. Actually, I'm not even going to stick that down. Put a little bit of glue. I'll deal with that later just to remove those. Oh my gosh, for some reason I couldn't get this lid on during the video there. So you might have seen I was struggling with that. I just think this looks pretty here. And again, you can decorate all around this, whatever you like to do. You know, some people really like to go for it, right? So let's clean up just a little bit. We'll take a look at our pages. Okay, guys, and it took me a long time to get this to look like this one. I don't know why. I mean, obviously because these guys, but then you can always switch it out for another one, you know, a different cluster. I just didn't see another cluster that really had yellow in it that was not just a pansy set. So I'm like, a little set of pansies. So that's fine. All right, guys. So this is today's layout with that middle section. Again, gutted. It's going to hold forever. No problem. You could have cut out some of this maize color if you want to use it later for something else, that goldenrod. But I didn't mind just leaving it there for the sturdiness. And then just a little decoration. You guys know how I do. But again, you can deck it out really, really well. Like I said, when I first read them, I think you can do 9 pieces of embellishment per page. And, you know, that's how many embellishments are in here. So, you know, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I still have quite a bit that I can use for other things, right? But anyway. All right, guys. Well, I hope that gave you a little more idea. I think a lot of the same sentiments I said about this Paisley are the same things you guys had in mind. Like, it is a lot of pattern and hardly any not super pattern papers. So it's a lot for the eyes, right? So how do we set that up? So I'm really happy to dive in with this one to help you kind of see maybe how to break those things up a little bit so your eyes aren't just like, you know. And of course you have your beautiful pictures. So all right, guys, hopefully that gives you a quick idea. Again, you know, mix and match the layers. You don't like just having one picture on each, put 2 or 3, you know, no big deal. But you can do something similar, right? If you like. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. I will see you all at the next one. Bye now.